Oh. Okay, so random dude is not the father? It's some kind of cover-up? Are we really still talking about this?
Are not
Okay, this is fine. We can do this again. Are you excited, Historia? Are you excited? Hey guys, and welcome to DarkLogic Studios, the place where we try to have meaningful conversations about Attack on Titan, with all its nuances and thematic elements, but we also have to keep up with what's trending. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the theory that everybody is apparently talking about right now, and that is the possibility that the random guy that was revealed to be the father of Historia's baby in the last chapter is not actually the father. Now at first I wasn't planning to make another video about this. I kind of accepted this whole explanation at face value and hadn't really questioned it myself. Oh, silly me. What a fool you are, DarkLogic Studios. This is Attack on Titan, you idiot. After giving it some consideration, and given the tradition this story has with giving us one bogus explanation after another, this is obviously, definitely, probably, most likely, a complete load of bullshit. But before we get to that, I want to talk about something else real quick. I want to talk about the mystery lady that came out of the woods in this chapter. You guys pointed out something that I didn't realize in my initial reading of this chapter. Before we go any further though, I want to make sure that you guys know these videos are going to contain spoilers. So if you haven't read the latest chapter, then what are you doing with your life? Seriously though, if you don't want spoilers, you might want to click on something else. If you're all caught up though, then let's get to it. So, the mystery girl who found Gabby and Falco. Who is she? And why are we talking about Gabby and Falco again? I know, everybody hates Gabby. And trust me, she's not one of my favorite characters either. But I do think we're going to have some pretty interesting stuff happening with her. And I'm looking forward to seeing how her character is going to develop. So, the mystery girl. Who is she? Well, apparently, she's the same girl that Sasha saved from that village in Season 2. I knew that I'd recognized her from somewhere, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. I guess I didn't really make the connection, because I kinda assumed she was a woman, maybe a mother. But if this is that girl, that means she's probably just a teenager now. It seems like a pretty big coincidence, but since Sasha's family live in the woods, it definitely makes it possible. So what does this mean? This could be potentially huge for Gabby's character. If she goes back home with this girl and meets Sasha's family, I can only imagine all the different scenarios that could take place. Like, this is really gonna shatter Gabby's reality even more. Just imagine, they run into this Eldian stranger who invites them to come have breakfast. Already an unexpected gesture of hospitality. In fact, Gabby is probably thinking that she's trying to trick them or something, because there's no way she's just gonna trust this girl right away. In fact, it's a good thing that Falco's there to kind of keep her in check, because God knows what she would do if she was alone. But imagine them all sitting around the table, having breakfast, and this girl starts to tell Gabby and Falco about the brave lady who saved her after Titans had attacked her hometown, and took her in to live with their family after her mother was eaten. The same girl who's recently killed during the battle in Marley. Perhaps Sasha's father will start to talk about her as well. Maybe Niccolo will even be there, who knows. But seeing as Gabby and Falco don't want to blow their cover, all they're going to really be able to do is sit there and listen. Gabby's going to be forced to sit there with the family of the person that she killed and hear about what a good person she was. That's going to be pretty tough for Gabby. It's probably going to be pretty difficult for her to accept at first. But we're just gonna have to see how she deals with it. And now we go back to, who's the daddy? Yay.
You are not the father.
So it looks like right now the most popular candidates as of the characters that we know are Eren, Zeke, ew, Levi, also ew. Yes, he's hot, but he's old. Jean, and who else? Armin! Yeah, my man!
You are the father!
you guys watched my last video about Historia, you know that my guess was if it was going to be somebody that we know, which I still think is unlikely, that it would probably be Armin, for a number of reasons. And I still believe that that is the most likely scenario. If, and that is a big if, it is one of our characters. However, whether this explanation ends up being a cover, or a conspiracy, or whatever, or not, I still don't think it's gonna be one of our boys. Why? Well, just observing their interactions in the scenes we've seen them in after Historia became pregnant, none of them seem to give off the vibe that they are the father or have this kind of connection or obligation to Historia, except for one, and that is actually Eren.
You are the father. Oh my God!
So I'm starting to consider that if it is one of the guys that we know, that Eren could actually be a likely possibility. But if that's true, then I don't think it's likely to be a very happy story as to how we got here. I've been wondering as these chapters progress, what exactly happened that caused Eren to make such a sudden change? That he would choose to go against his friends and act on his own, and to the point where he's almost unrecognizable in the latest chapters, perhaps even to himself. Perhaps that's why he was looking in the mirror so intently, staring at a face he no longer recognizes, as he detaches further and further from the person he used to be. What happened to Eren to cause him to become like this? I don't think it was just what happened in the festival, or the fact that Sasha died as a result. Something happened before then. Jean even mentions in the last chapter that Eren and Zeke spoke in secret somehow, but no one knows what they talked about. This conversation was definitely a turning point for Eren, and given the timeline, if Eren had been in Marley for several months, that would line up with how far along Historia appears to be, which to me looks to be at least between 4 to 6 months. Wow, this is all starting to make a little too much sense. So if Eren did turn out to be the father, how did this exactly come about? Honestly, I'm a little scared to even try to answer that question. I really don't want to think of our beloved Eren forcing himself on her or manipulating her into letting him father her child, and I also don't see any real reason why Historia would want it to be Eren either. Like I said in my previous video, I think if she had chosen between any of our guys, I think she would have probably chosen Armin. The only way I can see this happening is if it was not totally within her own will, which is just unpleasant. But there's another possibility, that's also unpleasant, that Eren is not the father, but is still involved in some way in making this happen. Now I guess another thing people are talking about is this hooded figure standing outside the barn and the panel of Historia talking to the farmer guy. I just assumed that this person was Yelena, as the guy at the table had mentioned her, but of course nothing is ever as it seems in this manga. So is it a possibility this could be someone else? Namely, Eren. Again, as I said in my previous video about Historia, if Yelena was behind this, it is most likely that she manipulated or threatened Historia in some way, but what if that person who threatened or manipulated her was actually Eren? Again, Eren going down a pretty dark path in this route, but if he did do either of these things, I do believe it would have been, again, like I said about the festival when all that shit happened, under Zeke's influence. We all know Zeke is unreasonably intelligent. He's got a plan up his sleeve, and who knows how long he's been pulling the strings. But I can definitely see Eren being driven to do some pretty messed up stuff after letting Zeke get a hold of his mind. I mean, if you think about how Armin is able to manipulate people, you know, when his dark side comes out. Remember that scene with Bertolt? Imagine that, but even worse. Even more calm, even more calculated, even more insidious. And if this happens to be the case, then I can't help but feel really bad for Eren. Even worse than I did before. So what do you guys think? Do you really think Eren would do this? Do you think Zeke is manipulating him? Do you think the explanation for the father is a lie? And if so, tell me who you think the real father is in the comments below. I still think it could be Armin, but I feel like that's less likely now. If this is a cover-up, then I think the most likely possibility, like I also said before, is that the father is probably a member of the Azumabito clan, because that probably would be something worth covering up. Especially with all these shady-ass people around. Anyway, tell me your thoughts, guys. And go ahead and vote at the end of this video for who you think the father could be. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and check out my Patreon if you want to help support this channel. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.